In the ultimate situation, we can go right back to Jim Collins' book, Good to Great. And in that book, those of you who've read that book and who know about Jim Collins' work know that he labeled the leaders that make great companies as what he called level 5 leaders. And the metaphor for a level 5 leader was the window and the mirror. And that's all about humility. And what that metaphor means is that when things are going great, the level 5 leader is looking out the window and he's patting everybody on the back and he's telling them how great they're doing. When things are going bad, he's looking in the mirror. He's asking himself, what am I doing wrong? What have I got to do differently to, turn this around, to fix this? And that's really the spirit of being responsible versus being the victim. Victims, they blame, they point fingers, they don't own their circumstances. And the truth is that's a very disempowering position to take, because if you don't own it, then you have no power to do anything about it. And in truth, most of what happens to us, not all, but most of what happens to us is either directly or indirectly connected to the choices and the decisions and the behavior that we've taken in the past.
So if you can give me some insight into, and you may not be able to, but if you can give me some insight into that company's interview process and how they go about evaluating someone's sense of responsibility versus victimhood.
Yeah, well, that's a good question. I think I have one example. I looked at some of the interview questions that they use, and my favorite interview question, and the way they do things at NextJump is, they do the normal boilerplate stuff. They look at the resume, they talk to people about their background and experience, their aspirations, all of that stuff. They check references, all of that stuff. But then they have a separate interview, and that interview is based on this question. You've worked for us for 6 months, and you're ready to quit. What happened?
What kind of answers do they typically get, and how do they interpret those answers?
Yeah, I'm not sure I can answer that very well. But one of the things, the thing that's important about the answers, Mason, is that they're not looking for a recipe in terms of the answer. And I guess the best example that I have is the example that I got from my brother-in-law, John Gladden, because he's a very thoughtful guy. He's an electrical engineer. He works for Boeing, and he's in their their technical route of advancement. So he's a heavy hitter kind of a guy. And when I asked him that question, he just looked at me, and I said, what's wrong? And he said, I don't get the question. In no way would I even consider quitting a company after just 6 months of work. I don't know enough. I might not be happy, but I'm not ready to make a decision to quit. So
I guess basically someone who might operate from a victimhood status and might say, well, the company screwed me, or the company didn't do what they said they would do, or the company didn't give me what they said they would give me, and it wasn't my fault, and blah, 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 blah. So, okay, I got you. Talk to me a little bit about, and then we'll wrap this up, but talk to me a little bit about investing in loss versus know-it-all.
Yeah, very good. Investing in loss is also sort of connected to the responsible victim thing. And what it's about is when something goes wrong, okay? When you're given an assignment and it doesn't go well, do you quit? Do you play the blame game? Or do you ask the question, what is there to learn from this? I think I've shared with you, that favorite slogan that one of my clients has on his wall that I love and I use all the time. And it goes, there is no lose. There is only win or learn. So when things go bad, again, you have a choice. You can play the victim game, but then you don't benefit at all from the experience. And every experience has value, as I'm sure you have learned. And most people out there who are successful have learned it often. It's the things that go wrong and what they learn from those things that are the most valuable when they look back, in their careers. And that's what investment in loss means. It means that we ask the question, where do we need to invest time and energy, to practice, to get a little education, to do something that will take what we've learned and turn it into an attribute, an advantage that we can use in the future to continue being successful.
First of all, I want to thank Hank for coming in and sharing your thoughts and insights and stories as it relates to specifically leadership and preparation for leadership. I really think there's a lot of merit to what he has shared with us regarding, in particular, humility and confidence. So thank you very much, Hank, for being our guest today. And I hope that his insights and perspectives can serve you, each of you who are watching, in all your different capacities and endeavors. So thanks for joining us.